Right. Yesterday we were speaking about the various factors and processes that are involved in the idea of Renaissance, and we also saw how is it that Italy becomes the center of these ideological processes. Otherwise, one would imagine France, for example, to be at the center of all these ideological upheavals. But here, for all these various reasons of Roman Empire getting split into Eastern and Western Roman Empire, and then eventually the fall of Constantinople and all the intellectuals fleeing to the Vatican City. All these things lead to Italy coming in focus, getting the center stage, as it were, of this whole process called European Renaissance, which eventually spreads out, and there are many, even Scotland, places as far back as Scotland are contributing to the various ideas and inventions and ways of saying things, narratives. But still, this Renaissance is something that begins and flourishes in Italy. Um, there are various ways in which this flowering of Greco-Roman rejuvenation happens. Uh, we have earlier discussed some features of these manifestations, such as in the field of art, in the field of sculpture, in the field of architecture. Here you can see the first Bible that was printed using Gutenberg's technology. And this is one field which gives a tremendous impetus to the rejuvenation of Greco-Roman classical learning, wisdom, ideas, and thinking. Gutenberg is not somebody who invented printing. You know that the kind of printing that we have even on our dresses, the Indian block printed dresses. Yeah, yes. So block printing has been a part of various cultures, and even printing, as in printing of texts, has been there in the technological sphere for quite some time now. The Chinese are credited, of course, and rightly so, credited with the invention of printing. What Gutenberg did in the 15th century is that I've highlighted these things in red on the left side of the slide. Gutenberg brought about some technological interventions, as it were. He changed these little things which made it immensely easy to mass produce books. So up until then, there were always books, there were manuscripts, there were block printed books also, but it was not easy to print them. Because of Gutenberg's three different kinds of inventions put together, what happens is it becomes very easy to mass produce books. Here I'll, at the risk of being termed dumb, here I'll read out what is written on the left side. Invented a process for mass producing movable type. What is movable type? Any idea?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You've seen the sikka that I give, Shraddha Kumbhojkar, Head Department of History, the stamp, or any other stamp, for example, stamp on a envelope, postal envelope.
Yes, ma'am.
Sikka. Okay. Now see, my sikka says Shraddha Kumbhojkar, Head Department of History, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Pune, whatever. Okay, so suppose tomorrow Dudbhate sir becomes the head. Will the sikka continue, or will that have to undergo some kind of a change? Will the stamp continue?
No, it won't.
No, ma'am.
So there there will be changes in terms of his name, right? Now, how are we going to adapt to these changes in terms of that sikka, particularly? Do you think that this stamp can be altered to incorporate his name, or do you think that we will have to make a new stamp altogether?
We will have to make a new stamp altogether, ma'am. Ma'am, we will have to make a new stamp altogether.
Yes, we'll have to make a new stamp altogether, which will say B.H. Dudbhate, Head Department of History. Many things will be common, but letters, of course, are only 26 alphabets, but still we will have to make a new stamp, right? This is because the letters are not moving on the stamp. Okay. Now imagine a stamp in the library. So if you guys remember, but in the libraries, they stamp your books saying you have to return this book by 31st of August, 15th of September, 30th of September. Have you seen that stamp?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So do they make 65 stamps of that kind for 1st January different stamp, 2nd January different stamp, or it's the same stamp?
Same stamp, ma'am.
Same stamp. Ma'am, I think the numbers are movable.
Yes.
Numbers
Is it
and
only the numbers?
Months and years also.
Years also.
And years, yes. So now you know what is movable type.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, the first example that I gave, only even if the first line out of 4 lines was changing, still we have to make a new stamp. But in case of the library stamp, we don't have to make a new stamp every time, even if there are innumerable combinations of all these dates, days, years, so on and so forth, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So movable type is something that allows you to conserve in terms of, conserve resources in terms of the blocks that you make. Suppose you have to print the Bible, then for the first page you make a different block, for the second page you make a different block. Every time you have to keep stamping. That's a difficult process. If you have a movable type, then you move the letters to print the first page, then you move the same letters to print the second page, and so on and so forth. Are you getting the point that I am trying to drive at? The ease.
Yes, ma'am. Totally.
Is this too nursery-like? Because I can't see you guys and you can't see me also.
Yeah, ma'am, we'll come on video from tomorrow. But ma'am, understanding very well. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Movable type is something that helps in mass producing. Second thing is the oil-based ink. The ink pens that we use, for example, if there is a sprinkle of water or some kind of a spray on something that is written with an ink pen, what happens? पानी गिरा उस पे तो you've written something with an ink pen, स्याही वाला pen, and उस पे पानी गिर जाता है. There's water.
It will be ruined, ma'am.
Yeah, it will wash away.
Bleed.
If it's something written by ball pen,
It depends on the quality of the ball pen.
I'm pretty sure Lexi will last. Okay, it's the ultimate pen.
No, it doesn't last, huh?
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, a point that I'm trying to arrive at is, if the ink is water-based, then it smudges very easily. It gets ruined very easily. But if the ink is oil-based, then it doesn't get smudged, it doesn't get ruined as easily as the water-based ink. Gutenberg introduced this also. So when I said 2 or 3 minor variations he did, which led to the tremendous ease in mass producing of books, these 2 or 3 things are very important. One is the type becomes movable. Secondly, the ink is oil based. And third is a wooden printing press, as against um, iron one, cast iron one, which would be very heavy and not maneuverable at all. Because of all these elements, what happens is mass production of printed books is something that becomes quite viable for people in Germany. Not just in Germany, as you can see from the next slide, within the first Bible is, see, the first one that is printed is, of course, there is the theory that Bible is not the first book that was printed, but let's just say it is one of the earliest. First or second, we will not go into that race. But 1455, you have Gutenberg printing the Bible, and within 50 years, within 45 years, really speaking, there were 1700 printing presses in Europe, and producing so many thousands, millions of volumes of different books. Now probably you realize why the printing press is such an important invention, because it helps us in dissemination of thoughts. Earlier, it was not possible for people to read, for example, even the Bible. It was not possible for people to read even the Bible. So whatever is the word of God, a common person, imagine the same old housewife from the 13th century that we were talking of yesterday. Imagine what would be her life like in the 16th century. Probably she would have better access, or probably she would at least approach somebody near her home for what God has actually said according to the Bible. Easily accessible thanks to the Gutenberg Bible. And once, as you all know, once you have learned how to ride a cycle, so you learn driving on a small scooty, but you can of course drive an Activa, you can go on to drive any other two-wheeler as well. Same applies to the other skills also in life. Once you've learned making tea, you can possibly cook. Once Bible was printed, there were many other books disseminating different kinds of thoughts that got printed in 50 years after the invention of the Gutenberg technology of printing. This is something which leads to the ideological exchange, which not just leads, it encourages a great deal of intellectuals to write down their thoughts and publish them, share them with others, so on and so forth. Pretty much what the internet seems to have done and the social media seem to have done that is democratization of knowledge. Of course, there is the flip side to it as well, but still, with the help of this new technology, people were able to articulate their thoughts in a cogent fashion, write them down, and then disseminate them, share them with the society outside, beyond their immediate audience. Dante is somebody who's one of the many literary figures who become extremely popular during this time period. Even if you will say Dante's lived in the 13th and the 14th centuries, and the press has been invented in the 1400 1455 that, no, not 14. Yeah, 1455 in the 15th century. Still, what happens is these guys become popular with the press being accessible for other people. So even if Dante has died, his thoughts are shared widely after the invention of the Gutenberg technology. But even during the earlier centuries also, for us, from the point of view of the Renaissance, it's important to note that there are many literary figures in this period, starting off with Dante here, because he is from 10th century. Many literary figures who are writing in their provincial languages, which get translated, and still they become very, very popular all across Europe. What we earlier discussed was the idea of a culture, European culture. We'll stop here for the English medium, and I'll shift to Marathi.